what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Homegrown podcast. It's been a while, but we are back, and I'm really excited about today and our next guest. You know, he's a creator, he's a muralist, he's a friend, and he's now an author to his own children's book called Sam and Sara, which is currently in print right now and also in murals all over Arizona, which we're going to explain here soon. He's doing something that I've never seen done before, and really just listening to his story, I just felt like this overwhelming excitement to share his story with all of y'all. Please welcome Isaac Caruso, currently taking a drink of water.
Mo, thank you so much. I'm so stoked that you're stoked on this.
I am.
Yeah.
Like when I first met you, which was like a few months ago, actually,
Yeah,
you and I have gotten to know each other very well. And you had told me you were creating this children's book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've never known anybody to create a children's book.
Yeah.
Let alone create the artwork all over Arizona in the form of murals, because you're originally a graffiti artist.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got into this mess.
Yeah, okay, so tell me a little bit about getting into being a graffiti artist and then working your way into
The murals, public art kind of
murals
side
and
of things.
everything.
Yeah, totally. So I started doing graffiti when I was about 12 years old, just because it was the summer in Phoenix and we were unsupervised and it sounded fun. And
You're
I
not
found
playing
some.
in irrigation like I am.
Oh,
I
no,
mean-
that's where we did the
Oh, of
murals.
course. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The drainage canals around here are in the bridges primo. So, I stole some Krylon spray paint from my dad's shed,
Okay.
and then I went out there, and we were just on a mission to make things funny. We weren't trying to, get up and, do the classical graffiti thing. We just like painting weird stuff big.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I just decided that I really liked doing that. I liked influencing my surroundings with art, coupled with I like to draw anyway. So right about 16, I started really getting into art. Started thinking about doing murals, and then the graffiti thing kind of went full force. Then I became an actual graffiti artist, and I had a crew and a name and all that stuff.
Oh, dude,
And it was
okay.
rad. And then I did that. Went to college, went down to South America, where graffiti is everywhere, and they don't care where you do it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, thank you for not smoking crack, and have fun making a pretty picture. And I was totally in that mode when I came back down to Phoenix. And then I was also working on a commission, my first big commission, with the city of Tempe. So I'm out painting on Mill Avenue, and I get caught doing graffiti. And the cop calls the city of Tempe's Arts Commission to let them know.
How did the cop know that you were a part of that, though?
I think because I accidentally mentioned it to him.
You don't accidentally mess.
I'm a really bad criminal.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a much better public artist. And so he calls up the city of Tempe arts coordinator and tells him, hey, we just got, your dude doing some graffiti. You should fire him. But the lady was really nice. Fortunately, she calls me up and says, hey, Isaac, you can either try and be Banksy or you can do public art. You can't do both. So I was like, I'll rather get paid. And so I've just pretty much been on the public art mural thing ever since.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I took my experience with graffiti, turned it into a living, and then I've always been into reading and telling stories, so that's where this kind of came about.
Okay, because that is something I've always wondered. At first, when I met you and you were telling me about this, I'm like, oh, he's just starting it. But it turns out you've been working on this for years.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the conception behind Sam and Sara?
I kind of remember in college, I looked at all the pieces that I had made up to that point, and I was like, there's a story here. It'd be kind of cool if I just took all these pieces of art and made a story out of it. That was about 12 years ago.
Dude, really?
Yeah, and that's when I first started penning down just ideas for Sam and Sara. I kicked around a bunch of drafts for years and years and years. About 4 years ago, I had to go to Tucson, Arizona for a whole summer to do arts commission, and I was bored out of my mind. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take this time to make this book thing finally happen. Mm-hmm. And I've been working on it in earnest for the last 4 years.
Dude.
Yeah.
That is wild. Also, you've been doing a lot of DIY for it. I mean, not just the painting of the, artwork. You're actually calling people in cities to be like, hey, can I come paint a mural? How did that happen?
So when I was in Tucson, I was just really committed to figuring out how this is going to work. And I was talking to the art director of the Arts Foundation for Tucson and Southern Arizona. And he's like, every city has an arts department or a chamber of commerce. Why don't you just make a list of cities that you'd like to go to and call them up and shoot out emails and make a website. And I was like, that's a great idea. So I did that with every city that I could find on the Arizona map. And then,
What?
yeah, 52 murals later.
Dude, oh my God, 52 murals.
Yeah.
How many hours do you think you put into all this?
I have no idea. I don't even want to know. I think it could almost be like a full year. Yeah, months.
You think so?
Months for sure.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, 52 murals. I mean, and how does that start too? I mean, are you how is that process trying to translate the idea in your mind? Do you sketch it out first, or do you just think about it and you paint it on brick?
So I started off by writing the story.
Okay.
And then once I had the narrative, then I illustrated the pages for like every section of it. Oh, I also decided to make it rhyme.
Oh my God.
Just because I wanted to make it extra hard on, that's like my thing.
But you know what? That's perfect for children's books.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, that's very Doctor Who.
It could be Doctor Who.
Could be.
Yeah.
It's very Dr. Seuss of you.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to take like that classic way of telling a story in rhyme and then flip it on its head with the graffiti. So it's like something that's very old school. The way to do a children's book was something that's never been done before. And I can say honestly, because I've looked into this a lot, there's been no children's book made yet, and especially one this long, done entirely with murals.
Yeah.
I'm talking down to the text. Every single page is just a photograph of a piece.
And see, that's what I thought too when you were first talking about this is like, okay, he's painting these murals, but they're reflecting what's really on the book. But it turns out it's actually just a photo of the mural that is in the book.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That is rad.
And the cool thing then is you can read the book like you would any other book and enjoy it that way. But if you really love it, or if you just want an excuse to go have an adventure across Arizona, you can go read this book in real life.
That is something that is rad that you could do that. Have you thought about creating like a scavenger hunt? And if people go and actually follow this whole thing, do they get something out of it?
If you send me pictures of you with every single mural, I'm going to send you a free print in a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, that's a lot of gas money you're going to owe
sure
people
is.
too.
It's like the least I could do.
How many cities do you think are a part of this?
Let's see. We got...
There's not 52 cities.
No, I did a few cities that have multiples.
Okay.
So we got McNeil, Sierra Vista, Patagonia, Tubac, Ajo, Salarita, Tucson Globe, Miami, Superior, Queen Valley, downtown Phoenix, Paradise Valley, Tempe, Goodyear, Payson, Black Canyon City,
Oh my God.
Camp
dude.
Verde, Cottonwood, Paulden, Winslow, Flagstaff, Seligman, and Chloride.
Whoa. You
Yeah.
even have chloride in there. They don't have that many people.
No, I know. Population of 300. That place is rad, though.
God.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so wild.
Yeah.
Now, so you feature all these cities. How did you choose these cities in particular?
I just kind of left it up to them, I was
Okay.
just like, I'll do this for free. Although some people were really nice and they gave me some gas money or a few things.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I
Okay.
donated all of it,
You did? Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, just give me a wall to paint and I'll show up and I'll paint it. And just the agreement we have is like it's up for at least 5 years so people can go visit it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And so, yeah, it's a lot. Like this book is a little bit about community stewardship, about what you can give back to the community. I love this state. I think it's amazing. There's a lot of great places to go visit. So this is a way that I could just show my appreciation for where I live.
And that was actually another question of mine is why choose Arizona? Is it because you live here? I mean, you really could have gone anywhere in the U.S. to do this.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, dude, trust me, but the gas money.
The gas money, exactly. And then also, I'm just a huge fan of this place. And it's funny, like, if you asked Isaac 10 years ago what he thought of Phoenix, he probably would have, said not such nice things.
Sames, dude.
Yeah.
Sames. I mean, you and I, we've grown up in
Yeah.
Arizona, so...
Yeah.
Arizona's not what it used to be over 10 years ago. A lot of things have changed, for the better, I think.
Yeah.
And as far as entertainment and things to go and do, and there's way more of a sense of community now that we're older
Yeah.
than I think before.
Yeah, and a lot of the things that haven't changed, I really grew to appreciate and love and see the awesome things about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, downtown Phoenix, one of them.
right. Every single time I tried to leave Phoenix to go to Los Angeles or somewhere else to live because I was like, this
South
place
America.
sucks. It's
Yeah.
way too hot. It was like a Chinese finger trap. It would just pull me right back in the harder I tried to pull away. So So yeah, I think I'm stuck here, but now I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you are here because we got to be friends. And,
Yeah.
and now you've done something really great for Arizona in particular.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I want to get into the book a little bit.
Sure.
What can you explain to us about it without giving too much away? Like, what's Sam and Sara about? Like, tell me about the characters.
So it's really just about like the power of being a non-traditional learner, which I am.
Sames.
And, growing up in the school system, especially during the 90s, they really had no interest in diagnosing it besides maybe give you Ritalin and no care to try and work with your attributes and what your unique qualities are.
Yes.
They're just like, hey,
Figure it out.
Yeah, square peg, get in the round hole. Or like
Exactly.
you just, it's going to be hard to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So these days, obviously, there's just as many kids with ADD who are neurodivergent, and I just wanted to make a book that lets them know that, hey, what you got going is actually a superpower. You can do 5 things at once where most people, can only do one thing. And if you do one thing, it drives you crazy, but that's just the way your brain works. Work with it. It's great. It's you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And I have not been like diagnosed as neurodivergent, but I feel it and I know that I learn differently from others. So when hearing about the story of how this is Sara, or is Sara the mom or?
Sarah's mom, yeah.
Okay. So
Sam
tell
and
me about the story
Sara,
first
sure,
and then
yeah.
we'll get into it.
So, actually, if I just kind of read chapter 1, it would kind of set up the whole thing.
All right, we're going to test his reading skills right now.
Okay.
We're going to see how good he is.
No promises.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you're
I
going
can
to
count
vote
to
at
9.
the end of this.
All right.
All right, chapter 1.
Chapter 1
Oh
of
my
Sam and
gosh, I
Sara.
feel like a child in school
Right.
now. Let's do
Story
this.
time. All right, parachute activity's done. And this is the story of a girl. Yeah, let's start over.
See?
Yeah, I know.
Boom. Point off.
Point from Gryffindor.
I know.
Just kidding. I'm Ravenclaw. This is the story of a girl who daydream and fantasize wild things beneath the moon's beam. A curious, thoughtful, inquisitive child, she'd think and imagine things wondrous and wild.
There's that rhyming you were talking about.
Oh, yeah. As she grew older, her dreams never fading, she clung to her wonder and mind for creating. People would sigh she can't pay attention, but really her thoughts just had more dimension. The city of Phoenix is where she was born, in fiery heat behind walls dull and worn. And much like the bird where the place got its name, she dreamed she would rise from the ash and the flame. She'd rise from the concrete, from the dirt and the heat, and she'd float far away from the noise of the street. One day, deep in thought, she traveled so far. She traveled and traveled beyond where we are. She floated off the ground and into her own mind, entering a new world, leaving ours behind. She found herself in a strange new place, staring right into a strange new face. "What is this place?" she loudly exclaimed. "This is Figment Land," the new face explained. "We figments are things that exist in your mind. We figments exist free from space, free from time." There were every emotion and everything sought, each burning question and everything ever thought. It was the perfect universe of her own conception, and these murals were portals between worlds of perception. And it felt like home when she arrived that day and loved it so much she decided to stay, becoming the figment of her old persona, a beautiful sunflower from Arizona, just like the ones that blossom and grow at her old house outside her window. Hers was the very first transformation from our normal world into imagination, and since she was from a different place of birth, she longed for belonging and connection to Earth. She created a daughter named Sara, it's true, so much like her mom and perhaps much like you. This child of wonder, this curious girl, was the bridge and connection that joined these two worlds, and she adored her home like no other. But questions still filled her about the land of her mother. What's it like over there on my dear mother's side? So she left for adventure across the divide. Sara came to our world for a story to tell and longing to learn of her real side as well. She was curious of how she came to be and decided to will herself into reality. Her figment companions bid her goodbye, will always be there when you look towards the sky. And they all waved farewell. Her mom hugged her so and said, "I'm only a thought away," and then she let go. And then that goes into chapter 2.
Dude, I am crying.
That's what we're going for.
Dude,
That's
this
how
is
you
so
make good art.
beautiful. How
Thank
did this
you.
happen?
Thanks, Mo. I appreciate you.
I can't
Those
believe
are authentic.
They're real.
Yeah, we didn't even make them in post.
This isn't CGI. We didn't have the budget for it. I had to really do this. Dude, that is beautiful. And that's only chapter 1.
Yeah, there's 5 chapters.
Oh my God. Why am I crying? I did not expect this, nor did I plan this. But I love the idea that it is a woman who has created the figments in her mind, because I can relate to this. I feel like I'm also a person that is constantly daydreaming. I'm constantly thinking of other things. I can be present, but I feel so much more connected to whatever I'm dreaming up or thinking of. And
it feels so real when you're there in your head.
Yes.
You just kind of like blink it out of existence.
Yes, to the point where sometimes I will not do anything purposely just so that I could stay in this world.
Yep.
I mean, granted, I'm thinking a lot about what can I do to change my house differently.
But then when you're doing it, you're imagining your place as you change the color of your wall, as you get a new refrigerator,
all of it.
as you do the Sims thing in your head in this example.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it feels so real when you are that imaginative.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm mad at you now. I was not expecting to cry so hard. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so why Sam and why Sara? Why these names?
It's a bad pun for Sam Sara. It was just like the cyclical nature of life. So I already have a volume 2 in my head.
What?
Yeah. And so this is people creating ideas. Then volume 2 is about how ideas essentially create people.
Oh.
Yeah. But I got to figure out
I feel like
this
that
book.
could also turn into like an evil thing almost too.
It's a whole wide range of emotions, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I got to focus on this book real quick, because you and I both know when you think this way, the hard thing is just like focusing on one thing.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Right now, like all my energies are towards this book, and it's so rewarding. Like I did a public reading the other day at Encanto Elementary for like 180 kids, and they were so hyped on this book. They were like moshing by the end of it. They wanted to do like a group photo, and they're like with the artists. They're like, yeah, and they're like, let's go, and they all run into the quad.
They look so hyped.
Yeah,
too.
and they're like, okay, get in the middle, and it was like I felt like I was like at Edgefest or something back in the day.
You were a celebrity to all of these kids.
They loved it so much, and I feel like it spoke to a lot of them. And if nothing else, they like art, which is really, really cool. So there's a lot of different appeals to this book to a lot of different types of people, and I'm just really stoked to put it out there.
Dude, that is so freaking cool.
Thank you.
Another cool thing that you did with this book is you've also featured some local celebrities. Some girl by the name of Mo. She seems cool.
Yeah.
What was the importance of featuring folks from Arizona?
So in the book, Sam and Sara go on this whole journey. It's like very Joseph Campbell, like they like trials and tribulations, come to Phoenix, find Phoenix where her mother's from. That's where they're trying to go.
Okay.
And when they come to Phoenix, they're like, why is everybody staring at their phone? Like, this place is so dead. What's going on? Until they finally see a figment around like a creative person, around a kid, around somebody who's in radio, around somebody who is an artist or like a maker, owns a business or is a baker, does something.
Yeah.
And that's where the ideas go and gravitate towards, is people who are creative. And I mean creative in any way, like not like just draw. Like if you have your own business, you're creating something.
There's so many different ways that you can create.
Yeah.
It's not just the simple painting or anything like that.
Yeah. And so that's how you got that cameo, and let me put you in it.
Well, I was honored, but also at first I was confused. I was like, why wouldn't you? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to say your girlfriend works here at the station. And I was like, why don't you just put your girlfriend in there? And you're like, look, you're going to be in it. And I was like, all right, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who else did you feature in the book?
Just a lot of
from Arizona
people on Grand Avenue that have the shops over there. And then just a few people who didn't know that I was taking their photo while they were being creative.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So this is going to be a surprise for some folks. I mean, you asked them if you could take their photo.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But there's one where it's like somebody, I remember like the Lost Lake Music Festival.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I did like a piece there of like some figments in the background, and it was like this nice couple. They were having fun. I was like, hey, do you mind if I take your photograph while, this is for the book? They're like, yeah, absolutely. And, in that moment, they're like enjoying creativity happening in real life.
Mm-hmm.
A few graffiti artists. It's actually really no one in particular, but it's just kind of like the things you see walking around the creative community in Phoenix.
Yeah, and there's so much. Honestly, like hanging out with you more has kind of shown me the more creative side. And I know I know a lot of creatives here in Arizona, whether it be in the tattoo world or in the muralist world, but I don't know. You just do so many cool things, and I've seen so many cool things just by being your friend.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, dude. Likewise.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I can show you except how this button works, but. So I wanted to ask you if you thought you were going to be doing something like this again, but you've already mentioned you already got a volume 2 in the works.
I got a volume 2 mentally in the works. I'm really just excited to see where this project goes. I mean, it just feels really good doing something, as original as I can.
Mm-hmm. This is extremely original, so.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to have a lot of fun, at least for the next year, just getting it out there. And then, I'll move on to the next thing, but it's really cool. I didn't know I could actually pull this off. Like, there is a little bit of a parallel between like an idea becoming reality, like Sara trying to become real, and me trying to make this idea become real. Because it's hard to like get it out there. It's hard to like jot down the thing that's in your brain when you're trying to draw it, or like, communicate the story that's in your head when you're behind the microphone.
Yeah.
It's kind of a struggle sometimes. So that's to be commended and recognized when it happens. So I'm just like trying to like enjoy the moment.
I'm glad you're doing all of that, man.
Thanks.
It's also going to be a lot. I mean, you've already put in so much work and you've got just a little bit more to go, but dude, it has been really cool just hearing all of the stories, hearing about your travels of going to do some murals in like Bisbee and like all over Phoenix. Like, it's just been a treat to be a part of it. Now, how can people get the book?
So you can go to samandSara.org.
Okay.
And you can see videos of a lot of the towns that I visited. You can see some of the pieces, the paintings, and then, of course, you can purchase the book. Just ran out of the first 100 copies, which came with a limited edition print that was done by the homie Galatea Editions. He's a local lithographer. They came out great. I'll be around Phoenix, selling them in person. But if you'd like me to ship it to you, just go to samandSara.org.
Beautiful. Where can people follow you on socials, just if they want to see like some behind the scenes stuff of what you've done?
Yeah. Instagram at Isaac.Caruso, and then TikTok, Sam and Sara Book. And that's SAMANDSARA, no H in Sara.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask, because you do have, some great characters. You draw people very well. I'm so bad. I'm still at stick figure people. How do you come to choose the look of these characters, and are they based off of anybody you know personally?
Yeah, so I was actually living in Tucson, and when I decided to like pursue this, and Sara was my barista from Starbucks.
What?
Sam was her boyfriend, and then Sarah's mom was just a girl I know too named Emmy. Down in Tucson. And so they were just like really stoked to like let me photograph them and use them as like, the people that were going to be these characters.
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah, you've done such an incredible job. And there's so many different places that you take us in this book. I mean, I'm looking at sunsets. I'm looking at the ocean. I'm looking at the desert. I'm looking at a part of Phoenix. Like, it's all over, and I love it so much, dude. I cannot wait for everyone to get this in their hands, man.
Yeah, I know. It's cool.
I'm more stoked that it rhymes. I'm such a fan of rhyming, so.
Yeah. No, it was pretty cool. And, not to be on a sad note, but when I was doing these murals, the person that was always there was my dog, Gustavo. Mm-hmm. So, he recently just passed away back in November. So it's super sad, but I was able to dedicate this to him. And so all I'm going to say is, if you're listening, adopt a dog. They're great.
Yes.
And this one's for the homie Goose.
We are so lucky as humans to have dogs and cats and these pets in our lives because they love us even if we're hot messes.
Yeah, even if you're living in a van, they're just like, dude, this is sick. Let's go paint
They're
some walls.
so stoked on
Yeah,
everything.
so stoked.
Oh my God.
So many smells.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. Dude, thank you for joining me today for Homegrown.
Thank you for interviewing me. I appreciate it, Mo.
Yeah, absolutely.